Hi everyone. So this is the obligatory career fair speech, which we decided to do this year because a bunch of mentors said it was a good idea, and then none of them volunteered to do it. So I'm doing it. So the subtitle is "Go Get Jobs." So the first question is, how many people here have full-time employment in the future? David, if you don't raise your hand, I'm going to... Okay. How many people have internships for the summer already? How many people don't have either of those and aren't doing something else this summer? So this might be useful for you then. So the question, as always, when I'm speaking is, why should you listen to me? Because sometimes I say things that are wrong, and sometimes I lie. In this case, I have a job, and I'm happy with my job. And like most of my friends, I occasionally used RPI resources. And I'm the only one of the mentors, except Albert, who bothered to study for job interviews.
It's not true, I studied.
Okay, only one at the mentor meeting who studied for job interviews. So, what it appears, to my observation, is that the first thing you should do if you want to apply for a job is you should make a resume. Hopefully it should be a good resume. How do you do this is a good question. And there's two answers. One is you find someone who's already made a good resume and basically just take their resume and modify it to be yours. Or you write a resume yourself and you get your friends to help you make it look good. Or you go talk to RPI with the CCPD, which was the CDC my freshman year, and has that URL. And they have people whose jobs is to fix your resume for you and help you write your resume and basically just talk with you until you get kicked out of the CDC. So they're actually useful. I usually fight with them because they want me to do things to make it look like I'm an engineer when I'm not. But besides that, they're solid, they'll talk to you. They've gotten hired before and they're old. So they're actually pretty good. And they have like latex files and all this other crud to help you pre-format it. Does anyone have any questions about making a resume? Did someone get value out of this slide? Someone raised their finger. Good. So the second step is you have to find companies to apply to. I guess given the title of this presentation, I'd say there's a career fair. Companies show up at it. Right now there's a bajillion and a half like presentations a company needs in the career fair and emails getting sent to random lists. So if you're interested in those companies, that's a great way to like add that company to your list. You could go show up if you're not sure if you want to work for them and find out what it's like, or at least the biased view their employees present. What's also true is most of you are CS majors. How many people here aren't CS majors? Like raise your hand. Okay. So for most of you, everything on the internet is a potential job. For the rest of you, everything on the internet that relates to your field is a potential job. So Google is your friend. Your friends also probably have done internships and stuff, and so you can talk to them to find companies. I already said every website you enjoy using. Alumni are also very good. If RPI alumni went there to work, they might hire you. Just a general statement. Yeah. What?
Like, if you can hire someone, do you rather to hire someone for RPI, like, or just like delivery?
There are companies that are almost entirely RPI employees and pretty much just recruit straight out of RPI. Capital IQ was one of the big ones before they sort of failed. But FactSet, the competitor that ate them and basically destroyed their business.
There are a lot of RPI employees.
Also has
I
a
interviewed
lot.
with them. I interviewed with 2 RPI employees. I mean, our previous RPI students.
Out of my 5 interviews there, 4 were RPI employees and 1 was an HR person.
Yeah.
So does everyone sort of understand the big idea? Make a giant list of companies you want to apply to. Is anyone confused about this slide? Okay. And then you have to apply. I recommend using the alternate method, which is get someone else to recommend your resume, because in some places it helps, and in any case, it gets the guy who recommended your resume extra money. And if you negotiate well, you can get some of that, which I don't think you're actually supposed to do. Well, either way, this is good because you can actually get in via a different channel. Generally, it's faster. Generally, it's quicker. Generally, it makes the company want you more because they're reaching out to you as opposed to the inverse. And I don't really see why that makes any difference, but we're humans and we do weird things mentally, so it does. So I recommend first talking to your friends and seeing if they can recommend your interview or your resume. Like they did an internship there or they know someone there. The second step is alumni. Most of them are happy to hear from RCOS alumni or other RPI alumni not that, undergrads is what I meant to say. Alumni like to hear from undergrads and recommend them because they went to RPI too and they like to think it's a great school. And they also make money off you. So it's a win-win. You also can just apply on the career fair, like hand in your resume. Some companies do that. Most of the ones I applied to told me to submit it online. So that's your last step. Just go to their website, go to the little button, drop in your resume. Does anyone have any questions about this? Everyone understand it? I'm not going to ask if someone got value out of that slide. And the last step is generally interviewing. From what I can tell, most people just do a bunch of interviews, and after doing 8 of them, you're okay at interviewing. That's the lazy way to practice for your interviews. The slightly more professional way is to actually interview your friends, which sounds completely creepy and bizarre, but might work. I did that to Barack. He got hired, so life's good. There's also books that are written by people who used to interview people at big famous companies. So if you want, you can go there and they'll tell you all the stuff you should have learned in undergrad that you already forgot, and then you can bone up again. I recommended that book. If you click the link using the presentation, I'll get 10% of what you buy off Amazon. So I recommend that. And the last statement is one that apparently...
Oh wait, the third line is actually the name of a book.
Yes, that is a link to an Amazon book that you can buy for $14, and I recommend
They're
it.
actually really helpful.
And you get $1.
Well, there's 167 people in this room, so if 80 people buy it, I just made $40. Or $80. Anyway, that's a book. And the last one is apparently critical. If you're in an interview and they ask you about something, not lying is good, and even more than that, admitting that you don't know it is great. I went into job interviews where they asked me questions, and 70% of the time I said, I don't know anything about that. That's much better than pretending you know something about it and making a fool of yourself.
There's a lot of companies that'll ask you questions until you say you don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying to either catch you lying or make you have some humility.
So is everyone not going to do the dumb shit where you pretend that you know something during a job interview? Everyone's going to say, I don't know? I think we should all practice this right now. Everyone, in your loud, adult, mature, I am a hired job professional voice, and say, I don't know. I don't know. Yes, I'm now a motivational speaker. That's the end of this presentation. Thanks to Dorothy, Shadows, all the Cole Schmidt, all of you guys for suffering through it. Are there any questions?
I don't know.
know.